Among the many who followed in Columbus's wake was the Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés. But if it weren't for one of the most controversial women of the millennium, the great conquistador might have ended up on the wrong side of a human sacrifice. She was called La Maliche. She's known as the Betrayer. She was thrust on stage for one of the great dramas of the millennium, Cortez's conquest of the Aztec Empire. 5 centuries later, her memory still haunts Mexico, coming to life in fiestas like this one in the Oaxacan town of Cuilapan. Was she a villain, a victim, or just a teenage girl suddenly swept into history's spotlight? In 1519, Cortés landed on the Yucatan coast with an army of 500. 2 years later, they had destroyed an empire of millions, the Aztecs. How did they do it? With overwhelming firepower, steel swords, guns, and 4-legged creatures the natives first thought were half man, half beast. With accidental germ warfare, the Spanish carried smallpox, which decimated the Aztecs. And with a secret weapon in a surprising package, an Indian slave girl with a gift for language and nerves of steel. Her Aztec name was Maliche, but the conquistadors christened her Doña Marina. Along with 20 other girls, she was given to the Spaniards as a gift, the spoils of an early battle.
We can assume that she's attractive because Cortés only saved the pretty girls for himself and the leaders. She also has an incredible intelligence and is able to pick up dialects as she goes along.
Her intelligence saved her life. It also saved her captors. The Spanish were hopelessly outnumbered. They didn't know the land. They didn't know the language. Just to survive, let alone succeed, they had to negotiate with the Indians they encountered along the way. And so their fate hung on the translations of a teenager. Marina quickly became Cortés's mouthpiece, helping him rally native tribes against the hated Aztecs, who constantly demanded fresh supplies for their human sacrifices. She became Cortés's ears as well.
She is a piece of property, a chattel. She's the slave girl. She really doesn't have much of a choice but to do what she's told, which is to tell what she hears is going on.
In the city of Cholula, Marina caught wind of rumors that the Aztecs were planning a surprise attack. Her reports to Cortés allowed the Spaniards to spring a trap. With the help of their Indian allies, the conquistadors slaughtered by Cortés's count 3,000 Aztecs in 2 hours. The massacre at Cholula sealed Marina's reputation as La Maliche, the betrayer of her people.
She is, from that point on in history, considered responsible for the downfall of the Mexican Empire. The only one that we've ever been able to compare her to is to Eve.
By the time the Spanish reached the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, Cortés and Doña Marina had become a team. They had also become an item. She would soon bear him a son, said to be the first mestizo, the mixed blood race that now makes up a majority in Mexico. Side by side, the Spaniard and the slave girl began an epic standoff with the Aztec emperor, Montezuma.
It must have been very surprising indeed for Moctezuma to find this Indian lady coming forward, apparently speaking to them with the voice of Cortés. And they must have thought that was a part of the magic.
Montezuma had wasted months trying to decide if the invaders were enemies or gods. Now it was too late. With Doña Marina's help, Cortés kidnapped the Aztec leader. In the bloodbath that followed, Montezuma was killed, along with a big chunk of the Spanish army. But Cortez and Doña Marina survived. When they returned with reinforcements 9 months later, they found corpses rotting in the streets. A once mighty city ravaged by an invisible enemy, smallpox.
This time, Cortez, with his thousands and thousands of Indian allies, marches into Tenochtitlan, and after the most awful street fighting imaginable that went on for months, destroys the Aztec capital.
On the ruins of Tenochtitlan, the conquistadors built a Catholic stronghold they called New Spain. Today we know it as the second largest metropolis in the world, Mexico City. In the city's Coyoacan neighborhood, what is said to be Doña Marina's house still stands, unmarked. The artists who live here have considered turning it into a museum, but not yet. Mexico is not quite ready to honor La Malinche.
Malinche has become now a symbol of betrayal. The word Malinchista still means anybody who is a sellout.
Traitor or teenager, hero or whore. After 500 years, the figure of Doña Marina remains an enigma. It may take another 500 years to sort out her conflicted legacy.